Spangle. Thank you, Spangle, Father Matt, and Father Simon, Sister Susie, Sister Katie, whoever's turned up in the Confessional Collective. Makes it sound very random. My story starts the weekend before my birthday, says Spangle. I'd invited my lovely friend Babs over for supper and had planned dauphinoise potatoes,
very nice.
fillet of beef and lemon posset for dessert. This is pretty grand. We should get Nigel to recreate this as one of our...
Without the lemon posset. Yeah.
I love a lemon posset.
Why not?
Really?
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's
Sounds-
pudding.
Really?
Nice and
It's like a
citrusy.
lemon mousse. What's wrong with you?
Mousse.
Come on.
Oh, dear.
Oh, dear. Anyway, moving on.
Not the point.
Oh, by the way, yes, it's a bit 12 certificate. Again,
Yeah.
it's a bit 12 certificate,
Again,
this one.
Don't
Yeah.
be eating. Okay?
Particularly if it's a 15 if you're eating.
Right.
Saturday afternoon arrived and the lemon posset was made and safely in the fridge. Everyone loves a posset.
No.
When I started on the dauphinoise potatoes, all was going well until partway through slicing the first potato with my Madeline food slicer. Now, I haven't got one of those, but it's one of those ones with kind of many wires that,
Yes.
Yeah.
that you can slice your potatoes in, hence the Madeline food slicer name. The potato got stuck. Bit of brute force, I thought, and it'll be fine. Though actually not so fine, as blood started to spurt from my finger. I had mandolined my finger. Fast forward to the local A&E department, whilst being bombarded with messages from teenage daughter for images of said mangled body part. Failure to stem the bleeding resulted in multiple cauterization attempts. The nurse, a lovely lady, commented that if she'd known it would take so many attempts, she'd have offered me pain relief. Well, maybe we could have started there
Great.
as it was hurting. Now, I may say something about the area that I live in, but I was the second mandolin food slicer incident they had that day.
Yeah. Oh.
Not another one. It's an epidemic of mandolin food slicing injuries. By this stage in the evening, it became apparent that Babs would have to cook her own dinner due to my self-inflicted mutilation. Preparing for her arrival, I got the beef out of the fridge one-handed to bring it up to room temperature. Momentarily distracted, I turned, leaving said beef on the kitchen counter. Now, I've so far failed to mention the other presents in my household. This particular evening was Monty, the 8-month-old gold retriever.
Ah, there it is.
So you've probably guessed what's going to happen next. Whilst I was distracted, Monty took his chance to delicately, and in genuine stark contrast to his usual fast and furious, opportunistic attempts to steal food, lift the £50 piece of prize fillet.
Good
That's
work.
50 quid's worth.
Wow.
50 quid's worth.
50 quid, 50
So it's
pounds.
50 pounds.
50 pounds.
Not 50
It
pounds.
doesn't
Weight.
weigh 50 pounds.
No, right,
That'd be
that's
like
right, okay.
that'd be like a cow.
I know, that's why I was impressed.
This is a piece of
How are they getting that in the oven?
beef fillet that costs 50 pounds.
50
Wow.
pounds.
Still.
In other words, it's expensive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Seeing something red out of the corner of my eye, I suddenly realised what Monty had chanced upon. Then ensued a clumsy one-handed chase around the dining room. Him with the beef and me with a bleeding finger. Once trapped, he relinquished the prize morsel, probably knowing it was far too good for his needs, although copious amounts of drool, I noticed, were present on the steak. And maybe some grass.
Oh.
And whatever else that was there
Oh, no.
that Monty might have been eating.
Right.
He did like rummaging in bushes and hedgerows, snuffling everything, and I mean everything, that he might find.
Yeah.
On inspection, I was pleased to see that he had in fact held the morsel incredibly softly. A very delicate dog. But here's the thing, I had nothing else to cook. I couldn't drive at this point due to my earlier injury, so I carefully washed and delicately patted the £50 steak dry. That's a steak that cost £50, it weighed £50. Babs arrived and cooked whilst I directed, and yes, Simon and the Confessions Collective, we cooked the beef and we ate it. There was a small amount of blood which we had removed earlier, although I have to point out that rare steak is obviously loved by many. Anyway, Babs declared it was fantastic, and to this day is none the wiser. Father Simon, I don't seek forgiveness for providing Babs with a delicious piece of beef, but for the fact I failed to disclose the addition of doggy saliva and finger blood. which makes it sound as though it's a specific kind of blood, but actually it's exactly the same. Although in my defence, she is alive and well and showed no ill effects following the consumption of the additional condiment. The Madeline and I have now parted company. It was a painful breakup, and I've managed to hang on to all my remaining body parts since the night in question.
Good.
It is one of those kitchen implements which sounds as though it may well be worth avoiding. But as soon as a mandolin food slicer appears in a confession, it's a bit like the beginning of Casualty, with a combine harvester in the corner of the field. It's only heading in one direction. Sister Katie.
Yeah, Spangle, I'm not with you here. I'm sorry. I feel like you really could have told Babs that information. Babs would have had a lot of sympathy for you. You've gone through quite a serious injury, you know, the second of the day. This is a common thing that people go through. I just think you should have disclosed it. Babs maybe could have got some other food. You could have had the steak another time. You could have got a takeaway. Babs would have sorted it out, so you should have told her.
A bit of steak, bit of blood, brother from another gutter.
It never ceases to surprise me the number of people who are writing in confessions that involve a 50-pound hunk of meat and their dog.
a hunk of burning meat.
Hunk of meat and their dog. Always put the dog in the other room. But let's be honest here, Babs didn't spot anything, did she? She didn't even spot that Spangle, you know, her finger was hanging off. So I think for that reason, it's not Spangle's fault.
Oh.
And therefore, I forgive.
Forgiven. Okay.